Welcome to Daggers and Shadow Daddies.
We're your hosts, Ryan and Adriana. Close your legs and open your book. Let's get to reading.
Warning, this podcast contains explicit content.
It's about to get nasty.
It's all vibes and no facts.
Let's get to spoiling.
Actually, there are spoilers if you plan on reading this book, so spoilers ahead. Everyone jokes about, oh, did you know that girls are reading full-blown smut and sex scenes while they're out and about? When you see a girl just sitting there reading in a park, you want to know what she's reading? It's the nastiest thing ever, right?
Sometimes it is.
Yeah, that's true. I mean...
I've been that girl, okay?
Your grandma gave us a ton of books, and I thought it would be so fun to see what has grandma been reading. Nobody needs to have read this. Ryan has not read this book. I'm going to retell him and talk to him. And you also read some books. What have you read this week?
Legends and Lattes, which, if I can say, I highly recommend.
You loved it. It was
I really enjoyed it.
Awesome hearing you read it this week and enjoying it. You didn't know that it was a romance novel either.
I still don't, which is maybe why it's my favorite.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I've heard really great things about it, and I was wanting to read it, but I just didn't have the time. So I dove into one of Grandma's books and got it done in, I think, 2.5 hours.
It was like 2 hours flat.
Easy.
You went through that fast. Did you read everything or just dialogue?
Just dialogue again.
God damn.
And this was painful to get through. The last one, action-packed. This one...
Not action.
No action. There was a tiny subplot of a mystery. I'm assuming there's a second book that I have to figure that out.
Well, let's hear the title of your book.
Mine is Fortune's Lone Star Twins. It's a story about a man with the last name Fortune. Turns out he's also rich. What a coincidence. He owns a gold mine, a silver mine. No, his family does. And it involves twins.
Okay, hold on. He owns a gold mine. His family owns a silver mine.
No, his family owns both. So he's wealthy, but he doesn't have current access to the money, I think.
You mean he's like asset rich but cash poor?
Yeah.
Or cash meh?
You're going to have to find out. I want to talk
excited
about
to.
your book first.
My book was awesome. There wasn't like a lot going on necessarily. It was cozy. And there's creatures in this. So our main character, Viv, is an orc troll thing. She's very big, like buff and cumbersome, like the men in most of our books. She's juiced up, and she used to be a warrior, like a scary mercenary lady. And somewhere along the line, she fell in love with coffee. She's decided to retire. So she's socked away a little nest egg, and she decides to leave this party or band of people whom are mercenaries. And she's like, I didn't say goodbye, I just left them. And she happens upon this shop on Main Street, which is like a dilapidated shit building. I can't remember what's in there, but she walks up and she's like, good sir, would you be interested in selling your building? And he's like, oh, I could never. And she's like, what about for this? And it's some sort of super special shilling that's just worth more than a bunch of people ever see. And he's like, well, I could be convinced, thank you. And he just leaves.
Oh, and she bought it.
Yep. And he's gone. Boom. Then she goes down and finds this gnomish worker who's not personable. People aren't exactly falling in love with him, but she watches this guy work and she's like, he is all business. He ain't fucking around. He's not talking to these people. They give him a task and he does it beautifully.
Is this her contractor?
Yeah. Yeah. This becomes her contractor. She comes up and she's like, hey, you looking for some side work? Because he's down at the docks. Because that's where you always find people.
The docks is where they're at.
The docks is where everybody's at. And the guy's like, well, I don't know what sort of work you need done. She's like, follow me, big dog. So they go to her building and he's like, well, what do you need? And she's like, well, obviously, like all of this needs to be fixed. It's all garbage and dilapidated and falling down. And he's like, well, I'll put a list of materials and stuff together if you think you can afford it, but it's going to be crazy. He's like, so what about, do I need people? And she's like, I'm a strong, able-bodied person. I'm not opposed to you bringing in your own help if you have people that you prefer to work with. But if you'd like, I'm here to help as well, and I'm really tough, where you can measure things and I'll move the big heavy shit.
I've heard people offer you this as a contractor, and you've never taken them up on it. How did you feel about that scene?
I think it was really nice the way that she laid it out. She didn't end up being who helped him in this building
I
process.
assume so.
But in real life, it's a little sketchier, number one, because my insurance will not cover you as a homeowner.
Okay, yeah, you're making it very practical.
I'm just saying, in reality, a real contractor should never allow you to help. That's not at all what they're there for. They're not a coach. They're there to do a job for you. But in this instance, it worked out great. She pays him a little extra even because he's so good at the job. He gets a place looking good. And he's like, so what is this building going to be for anyway? Nobody's heard of coffee in this area.
How did she hear about it?
She was over in this other area of the world in which coffee does exist on one of her missions. And she fell in love with this. And she's trying to describe it to the guy, but really what she's describing to him is espresso more so than coffee. Like she's describing coffee, but the machine and stuff that she ends up with is much more like an espresso machine.
So a modern day form of a coffee shop.
Yes.
To have an
place
espresso
turns
machine.
into this. That's what it turns into. But she's trying to describe it to him. And basically it starts off as a gravity pour situation, right? Not like French press or anything wild. Just a gravity pour coffee. So she orders these beans. They're very expensive. Her nest egg is getting smaller the whole time, but she's here. This is her dream. She's going to do this. She doesn't want bloodied hands anymore. She has a sweet sword that has a name that's up on the wall. It's hung up there to remind her of her past. Ideally, she won't need to use it. It's kind of the game plan. So her contractor's going through. She's like, I need plumbing, basically, which is not really plumbing, but she needs water storage. They don't really discuss electricity, but they get into all these fine bits of what's going to be happening here.
I get why you would love this book. It's getting into these types of details.
It's wonderful. There's so many wonderful practical things going on in this book. So at this point, I thought I was 15 chapters in. I was 7 chapters in when I first discussed this with you, and you told me that it was a romance book. I'm like, it's not yet. It turns out it is because she has a love for coffee.
Oh.
Granted, there's also more later on, but it's barely there, and it's a footnote, and there's hints of it. It's beautiful. Any Hoosier. So she sets up this whole coffee situation so that he can try the coffee. She gets the beans in.
The gnome?
She, yes, I'm sorry. She is trying to describe it to him. She's like, so there's these beans, and we roast them, and then we're going to grind them up, and then we're going to pour boiling hot water through it, and then you're going to drink the water. And she's describing it in terms of tea, because tea evidently is very common there. Coffee is not. No worries. He tries it, and he insists on calling it bean water.
Oh, no.
And he's like, well, okay, the bean water's fine. Like, whatever. And she's like, oh, okay, but I notice you keep drinking a little more and a little more. And he's like, it's fine. He finishes his cup, and then he leaves, and he comes back. They do a bunch of work on the building. He makes her a sign eventually, because he's like, you cannot leave up the sign for whatever the building used to be. And it's a prominent point in the beginning of this, because they keep referring to the building as what it used to be. He's like, it needs to be something else. And she kept trying to come up with a good name for it. And it was going to be like Viv's Coffee or blah, 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 blah. Just nonsense names. And he comes up with a name. And he makes her a sign that says Legends and Lattes.
Oh, that's so cute.
Like, yeah, it was a really cute moment. She's like, oh my God, the sign is perfect. Thank you so much. And she hangs it up and they're having a great time. The neighbor lady is nosy.
Typical small town.
She's going to get something to eat at a restaurant just down the road. And she's like, so how long was it before, you started making money with your business? Because this is a terrifying thing I'm doing. And he's like, oh, I still don't really make money at it. And he's like, the first few years, I definitely lost money. And I'm probably close to breaking even now, but I'm not getting rich. I'm doing what I love.
He's been a contractor for years.
No. This is the restaurant.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry. The contractor's making plenty of money.
That's what I thought. It sounded like he even got extra in tips.
Yes, he's doing just fine. And he's a recurring character.
Lovely. So the restaurant owner is coming in talking about how
she went to get something to eat in town at a restaurant just down the road from where she was.
Okay.
And she's trying to discuss with him kind of like, how's business? What's going on? And he's like, it's terrible. He's like, but are you the person that bought the old haberdashery? That's not what it was, but I can't remember what the building was. And she's like, yep, that's me. He's like, so please don't take my customers away.
Oh.
People are only going to eat so many times a day at a restaurant.
Well, and especially in a small town, that town has tea. I bet there's regulars that sit there for hours just drinking tea.
Well, he's not a tea restaurant. He's a food restaurant. We never discussed the beverages offered by him.
Oh, okay. So then she's really no threat to him.
Correct. And she kind of brings it up. She's like, oh, I am going to serve things, but don't worry. It's not going to be like food and whatnot.
Unless we need to later down the road. Don't worry about that.
Good catch, Adri.
Oh, no.
Good catch. Anyway, she goes back. Just before she decides she's going to open the place, her espresso machine comes in. Who delivers it but one of her old mates from war?
Oh.
And he's like, hey, my brother's the transport company, and he saw your name and figured that maybe I'd like to see what you were up to and check out your place.
Classic brother. Hooking up your brother. Wait, no.
No, that's not what brothers should do.
That's not what I meant.
Nope, that's a bad idea. He shows up. And he's like, oh, Viv, nice to see you. She's like, oh my God, so good to see you. He's like, so I really love the way that you parted ways from us by just disappearing one night.
Oh.
And she's like, oh yeah, I couldn't say goodbye to one of the girls in their group. She's like, I just didn't have a heart for it. He's like, well, you should have. It was kind of shitty that you did that. But anyway, here's this crazy contraption. What does it do? And she's like, oh, it's a coffee machine. They hook it up.
Does he have all the time in the world to hang out and learn about it from her?
He has enough time for them to hook it up and he gets to try coffee.
Oh, okay. And he has to leave after that?
Well, yeah, he has work to do.
Oh.
He's not just wealthy. He's just doing deliveries for his brother.
On vacation.
No. He's doing deliveries. This is a side job.
Between wars?
Well, between when they're hired as mercenaries to do things. And I assume they're trying to fill a spot left by a large woman.
Oh, fair.
She seemed like she was a pretty imperative part of the party. So I don't know. And so he gives her a little rock thing and he's like, hey, if you need me, you burn this and I'll be here. We'll help you out. She's like, no, I won't need it. And he's like, well, you're a business in this part of town. It's a big city, girl. It could be a problem for you.
Wait,
she's
big
like,
city,
I can
small
take care of
city?
myself. I think it's like a bigger port city, is my understanding.
Oh, so it can be pretty dangerous.
It appears to have that capacity, yes. And she's like, I can take care of myself. I'm Miss Badass Orc Lady.
Well, I mean, she went down to the docks and found a contractor. That's not sketchy at all.
Well, he's a little gnome contractor, though. She wasn't intimidated because she could squish him if she wanted to, just betwixt the thighs if it was my kind of story. Anyway, I left out a very crucial detail at the beginning. The reason she chose this dilapidated building has something to do with ley lines, which appear to be something to do with magic. I don't understand what any of this actually is, but I've heard this term before in other shows. Like I think Charmed talked about ley lines. And then there's some sort of special rock thing. There's a special stone. I don't remember the name of the stone, but evidently it's a big important stone to people. And there's one in this building that nobody knew about, but she could feel it.
Oh.
So that's why she bought this building.
Does it mean good vibes coming your way?
Would have assumed that other than...
Good vibes did not come her way.
That's exactly it. It turns out the vibes were not all good.
Oh, no.
So...
Are we to opening day yet?
No, we're just about to opening day. Some dude comes around with a fancy big top hat.
Ooh.
He comes walking in, and he is an interesting fellow. And he's like, oh, hello, young lady. What an interesting store you're opening, or whatever this is going to be. Are you prepared to contribute to the Madrigal, who is kind of like the crime boss of this area? Like, think of the mob.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and I think a Madrigal is a critter also, but I'm, again, not familiar with this enough. I'm just getting used to the fact there are orcs.
So we're in a world where she's going to start a business, she has to pay taxes, and pay for, like, a mafia thing?
Kind of, yeah, like a racket that you would hear about happening in the cities, right? Where they're like, oh, you pay us protection money. And it's really just money you're paying so that they don't come fuck up your place.
Exactly.
So she's like, I'm not paying anybody. I'm a badass orc lady. And he's like, I hear you. I totally see where you're coming from. You and I are cut from the same cloth. And she's looking at him and he's all kind of gangly and stringy. And she's like, yeah, whatever, dude. He's like, I'm just here to be friendly, and I just want to let you know. And he does. He speaks in such a dapper way. He's like, I'm really trying to help you. Trust me, I'm on your team. Every 3 months, you're going to pay this amount of money. That's just what it's going to be. Or you're going to really wish you did. She's like, nope, I won't do it. He's like, okay, well, good luck then. I'll be back. And he leaves. She's like, oh, before opening day, my group got to try coffee when her friends come to visit her, right? They get to try the coffee. Everybody's got to try
mercenary friends?
Yeah, mercenary friends. The contractor is showed back up. He's got to try the coffee. She's really just trying to get people to try the bean water. The neighbor people and surrounding businesses, she's like, maybe they'll give it a shot. We'll see. Nobody's really that excited about this coming in here, though, except her. She knows this will be a success. But she doesn't want to do it by herself. She needs to hire help. She needs somebody personable and fun. So she puts an ad out in the paper. She's like, hey, help wanted. You should have service experience, people skills, and basically a sense of right and wrong are necessary. And I think the sense of right and wrong and something else is higher up on the list. Lo and behold, succubi lady shows up, right? A succubus lady. No, don't get that look. That's almost racist of you. Succubus are not inherently sexual creatures. We learn that in this book.
I was going to say, my only understanding is that they are.
The way these two converse is our big orc lady is really awkward in dealing with this woman. The person whom she's interviewing, and I can't remember her name for the life of me, our succubus lady is also very awkward, but in a way that's almost like she doesn't do social cues. She's very direct, honest, to the point. When you're reading this.
Okay.
And our orc lady is like, oh, do you have server experience? She's like, nope. Do you have good people skills? Not particularly.
Then why did she sign up?
Hold on. Viv's like, okay, so those were like 2 of the 3 things on the list.
Literally the requirements.
And
why
she's
are you
like,
here?
well, you put the requirements, and at the top of that list was somebody dependable and wanting to learn.
Oh.
She's like, those other things were below that, so I assume that they were less important.
Wow, such a fair take.
Right?
Wow.
And so frank. There is no ass-kissing happening anywhere in here. She is just to the point. She's like, so I assume those were the most important qualities that you were looking for. And she's like, I suppose you're right. Yeah, those probably are the 2 most important things. She's like, well, this job pays 1.5 shillings. I'm going to keep saying shillings because I don't remember.
Medallions.
Yeah, there's like, they gave it actually a great breakdown of how the currency works. I just don't remember what it was.
Oh, I don't think it
Breakdowns
matters.
are sovereign. That's what it is. Sovereign are the big ones. It's going to be 1.5 sovereign a week, or maybe a month. And the lady's like, I'll take 2. And Viv's like, okay, all right. Yeah, 2 works.
If you're the only one applying, I guess you really have no choice.
She expected this to take a week. This was 7 hours after she had written it on a Post-it note and stuck it on a pole somewhere.
The unemployment rate must be really high in the area.
I'm guessing. The funniest part to me is, she's like, so you agree to work here? She's like, yep. They shake hands. Cool beans. The lady's like, so do you know what coffee is? She's like, never heard of this stuff. She's like, well, you want to try some? She tries it and she's like, oh, okay. Neat.
Oh, does she not like it?
No, she's fine with it, but she's just kind of underwhelmed. She's like, okay, awesome.
Are they not adding any cream to it? Any flavor?
Wait, we're getting there.
Oh,
it's coffee.
So right now
starts with coffee.
Literally just bean water?
It's black coffee.
What? That's all she's giving them?
So far, everybody's trying it for the first time.
That's not how you... If our daughter has had coffee, but when the first time you give someone coffee, you don't just give them black coffee.
Let me ask you a question. The first time you had tea, did somebody give you cream and sugar in your tea?
No, and they should have, because I thought I never liked tea until I had it that way.
Because it's nasty leaf water, right? I agree, and I like tea, but let's be honest, it's a little rough when you start. It's like beer and coffee. You have to grow a taste for it. So this lady is completely ambivalent to the coffee itself. She's like, okay, nifty. Never tasted anything like it before in their life, and I actually think they're a little bit addicted to it because caffeine.
Doesn't tea have caffeine?
Yeah, I don't think it's concentrated the same way as coffee.
Okay.
I could be mistaken. I think it depends on the tea also. However, this lady then leaves the place, and Viv's like, oh, fuck. I forgot to tell her when she needed to show up for work.
She just never shows back and expects to get paid.
The place isn't open yet.
Oh.
So she's just like, oh, fuck, I forgot to tell her when we were going to open and what we were going to do. She's like, well, I guess we'll see if she shows up, if she wants paid.
Yeah, fair.
Next morning, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, who shows up at our succubus? She's like, what are we doing? And the lady's like, so we're not open for business yet, but like we still need to go get coffee mugs and things to outfit the place with. Would you like to go with? And our succubus lady's like, don't care, it's your silver. You spend it however you want, baby.
Oh my God,
I'll go with you.
She sounds amazing.
She is. She's so direct and to the point. It's wonderful. And this is where I'm like, oh, you at this point had told me, you're like, oh, it's a romance. And I'm like, oh, my shadow daddy's a succubus. I know what's going to happen. It's a lesbulian
Oh,
story.
you did ask if it was a lesbian story. And I'm like, I don't know what it is.
Turns out it is.
Oh, it is.
It is.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I didn't know. I truly just have seen it pop up, the photo a few times, and I thought, heard it a little bit.
I came at this with no expectations, and they were all exceeded. It was wonderful. So they go shopping, they get their stuff, they show back up to the place, and Viv's like, we're kind of in this together. I don't know how to get people in to try this. Our succubus lady's like, what you got to do is get them hooked. Let them come in and try it for free. Also, do you have any idea menu-wise exactly what you're looking at, or is it just this bean water?
They keep calling it this still at this point?
Kinda. The contractor calls it bean water. I think the succubus at this point is still calling it bean water, and then eventually she learns to respect it and call it coffee. I don't remember. What I will say is this point, she's like, oh, yeah, I didn't even think about that. We can concentrate the espresso. She brings this up too. The only thing about this book that I would nitpick is there's a difference between coffee beans and espresso beans.
Oh.
You cannot just grind coffee beans and get espresso from them.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, coffee's oddly a really different thing entirely.
I didn't think about how you worked in a coffee shop with your mom. For your mom is maybe the better word.
Yeah, it was Mom's coffee shop. I just worked there. It sold coffee in my underwear on Sundays. Skivvy Sundays were a great day at the Valley Brew.
And how much you know about coffee when going into this book?
I don't think it hurt or helped.
Oh,
it's
okay.
really an interesting thing where, as somebody who does know a bit about coffee, I'm not a real connoisseur. There are people that know piles more about coffee than I do. But they didn't really fuck anything big up. From my standpoint, my knowledge base, what she included is kind of the most important stuff. It's finely ground. You tamp it before putting it up into the machine. And the water is more or less kind of force-fed slowly through
Are
the
these
beans.
details in this book?
Yes. Yes, it is. The process of just drip coffee and then espresso, the stronger, more concentrated bits, and then adding milk makes it a latte, right, or cream.
Exactly.
They bring up how they would heat the milk. I don't remember them discussing the frothing process, but I think even without that, it's absolutely amazing because a latte, for your information of the general public, is espresso, a little bit of foam, and mostly milk. Cappuccino's mostly foam, a little milk, or cream, and then espresso. But they just go with latte, iced latte, coffee, iced coffee. That's it. That is the coffee menu.
Before they opened, they only had 4 items.
Those are the only items that remain there for drinks. As beverages go, it is just coffee, latte, iced latte. It's that easy. I think there's so much to be gleaned if you are going to be a coffee shop person. To really looking at this and limiting the scope of what you serve helps keep their menu predictable. It helps keep their costs predictable. It's brilliant. You wouldn't sell in real life this much because Starbucks would run you out of town.
Well, also, if you're starting to sell coffee in an area that has never experienced it, and you have this massive menu like we see here, right, in our world.
Overwhelming.
It would be overwhelming. And let's say you choose something that you don't like, you would associate it with just being coffee. I don't like coffee, rather than I don't like that specific thing that I ordered. And then you would go around town and you would be talking about how that coffee's nasty and you actually just chose poorly on the menu.
And it kind of gets brought into perspective that way because when they first open up, what they're doing is giving away free samples. And they put signs up and they're like, free samples this week. Come on in, give it a shot. So all the neighborhood people are showing up and they're trying it. They're starting to build a routine. They're coming in at least once a day for this week or so. And now these people are really kind of hooked on it. We have so many amazing, unique characters in this. We got, there is a ratkin, who I believe is just a person who looks like a rat, is my understanding.
I think so, yeah.
He is a gifted pastry chef. He makes crescent rolls. He makes, I can't remember, he makes all kinds of really
Does he have his own shop?
Nope.
Not in business at all?
Correct.
So she's got to
So
him up.
Well, I think he like cooked something somewhere. She tried it. She's like, oh my gosh. And he's like, well, coffee's pretty okay too. I would like to be a part of this. And she's like, that's a good idea. I do have a kitchen. You could come do that and we could just serve these pastry things because people are like, It's nice to drink something, but it would be great to have something to snack on while you drink something. They never touched on biscotti. What I will say is this incredible rat chef kind of single-handedly makes this business. People are coming in for those treats. Like, they get coffee to accompany the treats. We also get pricing guide.
Wow, this is your book.
Yeah, it is half a shilling. I'm going to keep saying shilling.
It doesn't matter.
Half a shilling for black coffee, 1 shilling for iced coffee, plus a half shilling for anything you add ice to. It is 2 shillings for the first dessert thing that he made, and for the second dessert thing he made, it is 4 shillings.
Did you learn how much this cost her and how much her business is making?
We didn't really get a cost breakdown, but she does say that she's not going to get rich doing it because there's a lot of overhead. And just what she had to pay for this espresso machine, it had to come from the elves, I think, or gnomes.
I'm assuming it came from the location that she's getting the beans.
Yes, and if I remember right, the bean thing actually is a little touchy because she has to import the beans, but they're very specific beans that she's importing, which also makes sense because Starbucks, if you like Starbucks coffee, generally speaking, you like a lightly roasted bean. Starbucks does not overly roast their beans because the more you roast them, the more bitter your coffee kind of gets. And if they burn the beans, that's when you get that really acidic, you know what I mean? That gives you that aftertaste.
I think so. I'm not as familiar with the different types of coffee as you.
So the beans, when you hear like a light roast and a dark roast and a medium roast, a light roasted bean is going to be best if you like French vanilla or really creamy coffees. And she clearly has picked out the one that works the best for a balance between what she's trying to use them for, an espresso machine, and a drip coffee. She's absolutely killing it. How she ices these beverages, I believe it's discussed at some point, and I really truly don't know because there is no discussion of a fridge. I think there's somebody's superpowers or something or a play. Our succubus turns out is not an inherently sexual creature. She's not trying to seduce anybody. She is not using any superpowers to seduce people. And our main character, Viv, does such a good job of bringing up, she's like, so I don't know exactly what your needs are for your species. But if there's something here that is going to be a problem, let me know. And the succubus lady takes her really well. She's like, so you are assuming that I'm going to like prey on people because I'm a succubus. And
are you safe around my customers?
It's kind of the idea. And also, is it going to be putting you in a bad position because you're here and surrounding yourself with these people? And they just have such an incredible, frank conversation about what it means for her to be a succubus and what she is and is not drawn to do as both an individual and as a succubus. It was just so fucking awesome.
Oh, so is it almost like a take of this is a stereotype about our species? And
yes. And there are so many of those in here. It's so great the way that they're addressed. I don't understand enough of the fantasy things to quite grasp what everybody was, but everybody was listed as kind of what their magical being thing is, right? Like orc, succubus. I think there's a wizard. There's a dude in here who I'm pretty sure is a fate. He plays chess. He's one of the customers that becomes a regular.
That sounds like cheating if he's a fate.
He doesn't play against anybody. He's playing against himself. And the succubus lady is like, I watch him every day. She's like, but pay attention. I can never catch him moving the black pieces. She's like, I see him move the white pieces. I never see him move the black pieces. But they've moved. Right?
Oh, he's physically moving the white pieces. And he's probably mentally moving the black pieces?
That's what I took at first, too.
Or is there an invisible person?
It kind of has to do with superposition. Eventually, Viv breaks down. She's like, hey, man, my homie over there, you've got her wound up. Yeah, because he's been coming in for months at this point.
Oh, he comes into the coffee shop and plays chess?
Yeah, has his coffee, has his treat, his little confectionery item, and plays chess, and then goes on his way. She's like, you're freaking out, my homie. I just got to fucking ask. Are you playing chess with somebody? Like, is this seat taken across from you? Is there something like I can't see? He's like, I'm playing chess. She's like, by yourself, though. Against yourself. He's like, oh, yes. She's like, so my homie's never seen you move the other pieces. He's like, oh, I did a long time ago.
Oh.
And she's like, wait, what? And throughout the entire book, he speaks cryptically. He brings up the succubus and Viv at a latter point in the book. And he's like, I'm so happy for you guys. Blah, 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 blah. Because there's a fire and a whole bunch of other crap happens. I'll get to that eventually.
But he knows it now in the part that you are learning about it.
Well, no. So he comes up after this fire. He's like, oh, happy for you guys. I'm so glad that it all worked out. And she's like, yeah, we could have been hurt more. We could have lost more. All we lost was a building, basically. And he's like, no, I mean, like, the two of you really, that you guys worked out. And she's like, what? And he's like, it's so hard for me to remember which go-round this is. And then he scampers off. And the succubus is like, do you think he fucking does that on purpose? Or he's just cryptic and weird? Or do you think it's just how he works? And she's like, I have no idea. And they completely let it go. But I think what happens is he's omniscient.
Oh,
and
so he's kind of getting lost in where he's at in time.
Yeah.
But he's talking.
He's been there and is there and will be there and has been there. Like, it's just so fucking cool. I don't know what kind of creature he is. As a character, he's left perfectly ambiguous and not in a way where you're left itching to hear from him. At certain points, it's more like you just appreciate him as having been there and will be there. I think it's so cool.
Shameless plug between chapters.
Want more daggers and shadow daddies? Get a month ahead of where you're at right now. Sign up for 1 month on Patreon and then cancel that shit after you binged it.
That was great.
I listen to a lot of podcasts. I know how their advertisements work, and this is what I wish they did. It was only 5 seconds long. They're doing really well. Business is going good. Some bard comes in. He's a scraggly looking fellow. And he's like, hey, I'm a bard.
What?
So check this out. So they got a chef. They got help. They got all this cool stuff going on. The contractor's been in. The espresso machine generates a lot of heat. It's too hot back there where the machine and the kitchen are. So they bring him in so that he can bring in an air circulator to pump that hot air out.
Was there a fire already?
Not yet. Sorry. Being a bit of a chess player myself. I forget which go-around this is. But he figures out the air circulator thing. He's like, okay, so now it should be manageable. You guys should not be sweating to death in the kitchen. It's going to be great. They get that fixed. She throws him an extra couple shillings. He's like, no, please. She's like, just keep it, dude. It's a tip. We're family. We're friends. It's all gravy, baby. And once they get that figured out, the bard comes in and he's like, hey, would it be cool if I played some music at some point, just like outside or something near your place? I just kind of want to play. And he's like, yeah, dude, go for it. And he's like, okay. He starts playing some shit that is too modern.
No.
Everybody's like, holy shit. It would be like all of a sudden cranking up AC/DC in an old folks home. Maybe not, because the old folks now were the people that were listening to AC/DC. Imagine cranking Megan Thee Stallion.
Oh, okay, fair.
In an old folks home.
Okay.
Where everybody's like, the fuck are we doing here? And they kindly are like, okay, so we love what you're doing. We just need you to not do it in here, because it's kind of killing the vibes, bud. So he bails, and he eventually comes back and wants to try again. And she let him down real soft. Like, can I try again? She's like, yes, but do you mind easing into these things? Maybe let's not throw Screamo at him right away. It's 9 a.m. They're having coffee. Let's calm down. And so he comes in, and over the course of weeks, all of these regulars have been listening to him, and he's gradually making it more and more and more modern until weeks later, he's just playing what the fuck he wants to play.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And Viv's like, wait a minute, it's not jarring anymore. And she's like, that motherfucker so slowly became what he wanted it to be. So she has a stage built for him and all kinds of stuff so he can perform up there. And she's like, hey, I'm going to give you 2 shillings a week to come in and play. I want you to play these days at this time. And he's like, but you're going to pay me? I'm not just coming in here just to do it for funsies now? She's like, no. And put out your hat for your tips. You still get your tips, but I will pay you a guaranteed wage to come in here and entertain my people. So they got this beautiful ambiance. Everybody's loving the place. Who have we not seen in a little while?
The mafia guy.
Yeah, top hat fella. He's like, so, you ready to give the Madrigals some money? She's like, I'm not going to give that motherfucker any money. They don't get my money. They're not here working for it. Fuck them. He's like, this could get kind of bloody.
Oh.
Like, we're in the same line of work. She's like, I'm a goddamn coffee shop owner now, not a mercenary. He's like, we were in the same line of work.
We'll see about that type of energy.
Yeah. And she basically tells him to fuck off in a kind way. He's also hitting on the succubus the whole time.
I'm curious if those two have been flirting this entire time and you're just not telling me about it.
The succubus?
Yeah,
and
her.
And the top hat guy?
No, the succubus, the owner.
Oh, it's been such a slow burn. It's not really flirting, but it's kind of flirting. Lo and behold, they end up staying the night together. Not having sex, like just sleeping in the same place.
One bedroom? I believe
it's in what's her name's house. They both sleep in that house. I don't remember why. At the time, it didn't seem important, and that's before. I was like, oh, this is a relationship, dumbass. Pay attention.
And they were friends.
Well, there wasn't any sense of them fucking. But the next day, it's awkward. And she's trying not to be weird. And the succubus lady is also trying not to be weird. Finally, the succubus lady is just like, dude, it's not weird. We're just grown-ups. It's cool. We're fine. We're good. Don't make it weird. It's not going to be weird. Because they saw each other naked or something. I don't remember what happened.
And you're like, there's no sexual vibes in this scene?
No, at that point I knew there were sexual vibes, but I was also trying to cook dinner and do stuff. And I'm like, I'm not going to dig into this.
No, I thought you were telling me that you didn't sense any sexual vibes.
No, I did.
In them.
There are sexual vibes. Now, kind of semi throughout. At a certain point, they end up living together. It's really cool.
But not dating?
Not really. No.
Oh.
Kind of, it really does come off like it's far more of a best friendship where there also seems to be feelings that are requited, but not...
So
it's not straight horny. It's really romantic.
I was just going to say, this also seems like your type of vibe where it's romance. It's slower.
It is. There's brushes of arms, right? Like at one point, she accidentally brushes the succubus lady's tail as she goes by. And she's like, I didn't realize how sensitive her tail could be. It didn't even occur to me. And then she's like, but her tail's very soft. Like it was like a moment. It was so cool. Any Hoosier, Viv goes to meet the Madrigal at one point. She's like, I'm going to go just talk to this person because I'm going to let him know that if I need to, I'm going to fuck him up. She goes to speak to the Madrigal. The Madrigal is an old lady, just an old lady mob boss. And she's like, so I'm not going to pay you.
I'm just going to get out there and say it.
She's like, no sense in beating around the bush. I'm going to be direct. You be direct with me. Turns out the Madrigal, though, is terrifying, even to Viv. When Viv shows up, she's like, motherfucker, it's an intimidating woman.
I'm imagining that she's showing up to this mansion in a gated area.
Yeah, I think it's like a castle on a hill.
That's
Castle
exactly
Grayskull.
it. Yep.
And the Madrigal's like, so let me just be direct then. Are you planning on paying me? Lady's like, I'm not. I'm not planning on paying you. She's like, I didn't want to see you because of that anyway. It's not that big a deal. She's like, I wanted to see you because you have a rock that I want.
Oh, my.
And she's like, are you going to give that to me? And Viv's like, I am not, but I'm also not going to give it to anybody else.
How did she find out about the rock?
It's some sort of magic rock they can feel or something. I don't quite understand what's happening.
Well, now
there's
more
ley
people.
lines.
Okay.
Whatever that means.
That's the answer.
I assume that the ley lines have told them something.
Okay.
I don't know. I imagine ley lines are like telephone lines, and they somehow are magic telephone lines that tell you where magic is most present or something. I don't grasp what's happening in this place. But Madrigal's like, okay, well, just so you know, be really careful, because I'm not the only motherfucker who wants this thing. And as long as you respect me, I'll respect you. I'll come in sometime and get some coffee from you. I'm really interested to try it. I've heard nothing but positive things. And I like my neighborhood. So you be neighborly, I'll be neighborly. I'm like, oh, okay, all right, this is getting interesting. Madrigal shows up to the place, tries the coffee, tries to pay Viv for the coffee. And Viv's like, nope, I can't charge you money for this because also you're the Madrigal.
Oh, so she does have some form of respect of who she is.
Yeah, I think she knows that the Madrigal could straight up have her murdered at any given point.
But
and
she
the
doesn't.
Madrigal chose to respect her for not doing things. She's like, no, I get it. You were a warrior. Lovely. Don't fuck up my neighborhood and protect yourself because I can't do it for you. You're not paying me. Time goes by. Things are going swimmingly. There's a mystical cat, like a big saber-tooth type cat creature that has also been at this place off and on. It just shows up and it growls at bad people. It's really cool.
Is this a good character or bad character?
It's a good character.
Okay.
It's a good kitty. It's like a big, they have a name for it that really describes it. But what's the name of the big wolf? It's a dire cat.
I've never heard of
dire
that.
wolf.
Okay.
You know what a dire wolf is?
That doesn't sound like a cat. Sounds like a dog.
It is. It's a wolf, but this is called a dire cat, not a dire wolf.
Oh, okay.
So it's a dire cat, and which means it's like tiger size. It's an enormous, crazy kitty.
And it shows up for coffee and growls at bad people?
It does not eat coffee, but it somehow just kind of hangs around the shop. But Viv's like, I'm not going to fuck with that thing. It will tear my ass up. Like, that cat just gets to do what the cat wants to do as long as it's not bothering people. I believe it eats confectionery snacks from the mouse guy, too.
Okay.
It eats things. We don't know, but we know it's there more often than not. It is also connected to our chess player. We learn that later. In what way? I do not know.
Because you got to get to the next book.
I'm going to read the next book, even though I know I can't record it here. It's still going to be, it's there. It's on my TBR. So they are sleeping. She and the succubus are sleeping one night. The cat is waking her up. It's like, motherfucker, get up.
In her house?
Yep, in her house. She's like, what the fuck? Where does this cat come from? Why is this cat always here? And then she's like, wait, what's that smell? It's almost like perfume.
Oh.
But it's not perfume, but it's like something's burning, but something's not burning. I don't
Like
understand what's happening.
incense?
Incense, I believe, is a term they used. Yes, thank you. That is the word I was looking for. And she looks around it, but there's a strange green glow happening. Holy fuck, the building's on fire. Special green fire that does not emit smoke or smell. Somebody's after their ass. So she wakes up her girlfriend. She's like, yo, we got to get the fuck out of here. The windows. She's throwing shit, trying to break the windows out. The windows won't break. The place is sealed up magically.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Not to worry. Our sexy...
How'd the cat get in?
The cat has remained there. The cat has just been there.
Oh.
And it's sort of explained that way and kind of not, because they also were like, how the fuck did the cat get here? We don't even ask questions.
We don't even care. Thank you for waking us up.
Thank you, mystical magic cat. You're here to help again. So cat gets him up. Eventually, they're trying to get out of the building. Viv breaks through the ceiling, just destroys wood beams while she's being burned. Her skin is being burned and singed. Her hair is on fire. She is in the worst way, just really having a tough time. And she's just in her tank top. And the other one's also mostly naked, the succubus. They don't even worry about clothes because there's no time for that.
Exactly.
She's got the succubus over her shoulder and she finally busts out of that place and she gets the succubus lady to safety. She goes back in. She can see the cat's in there. She's got to get the cat out. She gets the cat out. She gets her lockbox with money and her espresso machine and she gets him out of that building. And then the building collapses. All the neighbors are out there like, what the fuck is happening? The fire burns too hot for water to affect it. Whole building burns to the ground.
It also sounds like magical fire, and that water wouldn't work.
Yeah, it's super hot magical fire. It wouldn't work. She's covered in burns. Everything's really shitty. They don't know what's going on. They're just sitting there watching their place burn. One of the neighbor ladies who keeps trying to get the recipe from the rat guy, because she's like, oh, we could trade recipes. And he's like, no, thank you. Mine are amazing. You're a cook.
Is this during the fire happening?
Well, it also happens there, but it happens throughout the book leading up to this. She's always like, well, this is fine. I guess I could trade recipes with him. And he's like, no. And Viv's like trying to kind of block her from being around him because she doesn't want her rat friend to get tired of cooking. Anyway, that lady also brings them out blankets and is like, here, cover up because you guys are mostly naked.
Yeah.
And the fire, they're too close to the fire even. It's still too hot. So they just immediately shed the blankets. They're like, fuck it, we'll Winnie the Pooh our asses up here. Watch the fire burn, right?
They're out in the streets nude?
Yeah, mostly nude. Whatever remains of their clothes that either wasn't on to begin with or hadn't burned off.
Okay.
They're hanging out there. Viv's like, fuck, well, I saved the espresso machine. And the succubus lady's like, why did you prioritize that? This is crazy. You should have never went back in there. That's dangerous as shit.
Exactly.
Viv's
She's not
like,
wrong.
I got to go sifting through this shit. I got to find my magic rock. Magic rock is nowhere to be found. Can't find a magic rock.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So
Who do you think it is?
It's that magical, however you pronounce it, lady.
It's not, but that was my first inclination as well. It was not the madrigal.
Some bad guy down by the docks.
No. We'll get back into who it was later. Those were great guesses, but they're both wrong.
Oh.
So she goes to go stay at the succubus lady's house, which is out of town. That's why she was staying with Viv. So they stay at her house. They end up rebuilding their coffee shop there, basically. Everybody slowly kind of starts to funnel back in. It's just outside of town. Everybody's coming out there. They're having a good time. Not least of all, the madrigal shows up and is like, I'm so glad that you were able to rebuild. And truthfully, it's wonderful. I'm so happy for you.
You should have paid me. I could have protected you.
More so, all of these materials and stuff that she needed to rebuild this place, she was actually able to get her hands on, which was difficult and supposed to be kind of impossible. The madrigal used her influence to make sure that lady had everything she needed to rebuild her coffee shop with.
Oh, no.
And it's good.
Oh, it's good. I thought it was manipulating.
No. She did this out of the kindness of her heart because she truly does respect Viv. So she's like, not to worry. I'm just really glad that you were able to procure what you needed. And Viv's like, holy fuck, it was you. You're why I was able to get all this stuff. And she's like, let me get you a cup of coffee and a scone, basically. Madrigal's like, wonderful. I'll take a latte and a scone. She gets it. She doesn't even attempt to pay this time. And that's when Viv's like, I fucking knew you were on my side of this.
Yeah.
So she gives it to her, doesn't overthink shit. Our chess player comes in, and that's when our chess player gives the line, like, I'm so glad it worked out for you guys. And she's like, yeah, well, we were able to save the espresso machine. Things went well. He's like, no, like, you guys. And she's like, the fuck are you talking about? He's like, I forget which round I'm in. Sorry. And then he just walks away. Everybody's like, the fuck is he doing here?
He's like, I'll be back again to say this later.
And she asks about the cat. She's like, I haven't seen the cat in a while. Is the cat okay? And he's like, oh, the cat will be back. But the cat does what the cat wants to do. And I wouldn't worry about it. She'll be back to see you, I'm sure.
Well, that's reassuring.
It is reassuring. And then at the site of destruction, we see the constables out there trying to investigate some shit.
Oh, they rebuilt in a new location.
Yes, near What's-Her-Face's house.
Okay.
Whatever the succubus lady's name is, which I believe is just outside of town, but kind of close. It's difficult for me to ascertain exactly what one.
Enough that they had to stay together.
Yes, they're still together. Things are going swimmingly for everybody. And the top hat guy is walking by the burnt building where the place used to be. And some strange figure walks up to him and is like, oh, hello, motherfucker. I hear that there used to be a cool stone here. And the top hat guy's like, yep, that's what I hear. Said, it's under new ownership, though.
Oh.
Top hat guy's like, interesting. He's like, would you happen to be the new owner of that stone? And he's like, if the Madrigal only sent you 5 to take me down, then clearly the Madrigal's underestimating me. And he's got this skinny little rapier. Do you know what that is?
No.
It's like a fencing sword.
Oh, okay.
Little flimsy French sword thing. It's a pointy sword.
Yeah.
Lightweight.
Brought that to start fighting?
Well, that's what the top hat guy uses as his weapon.
Oh.
We've seen one other time in this book where the top hat guy's reaction time is unreal. He's very, very fast. And that's where Viv finally was like, well, maybe this little fucker is a threat. I don't know. But this guy, when he brings up, like, it's only you 5, the Madrigal doesn't know what she's doing if she thinks that you guys can take me. And the guy, so cold, he's like, you might be able to take all 5 of us down. You're very skilled. But the Madrigal is more patient than you give her credit for. She will get that stone from you. And you will die, basically, is what it comes into, right? And the guy's like, well, probably not fucking today. And he goes, boop, boop, and Super Mario wall jumps up off of these walls. Comes up off the top of the building, and as he flips himself up to the roof, like with one hand, it's described with his dainty digits, grabs the roof of the building, pulls himself and flips himself over that top step, and as he looks forward, he sees a giant cat paw come in. The book ends.
Oh, wow. This is such a cute book.
It was amazing. I am so excited to read the second one. I'm so sorry I didn't remember hardly any of the names. Or really a lot of what went on, but it was so wonderful. It was only 6 hours, which doesn't sound that, it's pretty fucking short compared to what we've been reading. And not a lot happens, but not a lot happens in just the right way. No, it wasn't repetitive.
It sounds like it was way more romantic and subtle in actually building into what's going to be a relationship.
If the next book is literally just them using coffee as lubricant for scissoring, I'll accept it. I'm not even joking. They did such a wonderful job of developing the story and the plot, and the romance was really secondary but ever present. Her longing, their longing, it was chef's kiss. Absolutely amazing.
What would you rate it?
Man, this is going to come off. It's going to be way too high because the last book pissed me off so bad. I'm going to say 4.
Okay.
It is at least a 4, if not maybe a 4.25. It's not a lot of substance, but if I'm basing it off of my enjoyment of the book, it's at least a 4.25. As far as the actual writing of the book goes, it's probably closer to like a 3.5. It's not a super well-written book, but it is such a great story being told in a fun way.
It sounds like it was cozy, enjoyable. You were happy the entire time, excited to talk about it with me.
It's the perfect palate cleanser. I needed this book.
That's so good. I was really excited about it. I truly knew nothing about it.
Oh, it was so amazing. I love it. It was great. If you get a chance and you just want to burn 6 hours of your life, grab that book. Just listen to it and let it wash over you. It's not complicated. It's probably even better than I'm giving it credit for because I don't know what any of these creatures are. I'm going to do some research on fantasy creatures so that I can better appreciate this book in the next one.
Because was it about breaking down...
Oh, Lack. Lack is the name of the lackey that showed up to fight to get in the top hat. It's even brought up that that's a ridiculous name for a lackey. I fucking love it. The acknowledgement that like his name was oddly enough Lack. Fitting name for a lackey. I'm like, okay, we got lazy and it was perfect. So sorry. You were saying?
I don't remember what I was saying. Overall, it sounds like a way better book than what I read this week.
It's in my top 3 favorite books I've read since we started this podcast.
Oh, wow.
It is, there is one Gods and Monsters book, Book of Azrael, whatever the series is called.
Gods and Monsters is the series.
It is better than 2 out of the 3 of those books. It is better than 2 out of the 3 Imperium books we've read.
Oh, okay.
Man, it might be better than any of the court books that we read.
The Akatar series?
It could be better than any of those that we've read.
Did we buy it or did we rent it or borrow it?
Libby.
Okay, maybe I'll
get
see
to your
if I
local
can
library and Libby this thing. It is so worth it.
I was very frustrated with the book that I read. I was getting pissed off by the male character in every single chapter. It was just more ridiculousness because he is just meeting the standard of
is
being
it a Texas accurate though? Does he own cows even though he has mines?
I am very excited to tell you about this book because you can hate on it with me. I had another book that I was starting to read, but it was actually too cute and enjoyable. And I'm like, I can't continue reading this because I'm actually enjoying it. And then it would be you making fun of me for enjoying it.
Oh, I'm excited. That's next week then. Well, not next week. Next bonus episode, I want you to read the one that you really liked.
So in this book, we know it's about twins. I know it's about some dad twins. He's on the photo. He's got his black Stetson hat that's mentioned 1,000 times.
How many beaver is it?
She didn't say. She just knows that he looks
by a real
really
cowboy,
good.
I see.
So this book starts off with a mom group in Texas. It's for moms that have multiple like twins, triplets, whatever it may be. They started off in the pregnancy group and then they continued into their mom group. And the very first line is a bless your heart, a very Texan phrase where some woman is saying, bless your heart, Tabitha. Do you have any plans for Mother's Day later this month?
It started with a bless your heart?
It started with bless your heart. And that's kind of where this friend group is not nice, especially this one. But they're such assholes because this is not believable.
Are they debutantes?
I don't know. They're just wealthy, rich Texans.
Yeah. All right.
It's such assholery that it's not even believable. It was so hurtful what they're doing to this woman. So it starts off with a bless your heart, Tabitha. Do you have any plans for Mother's Day later this month? And it's intended to be like that classic bless your heart, darling type of thing. Oh, that was a decent accent.
Yeah, I was going to let you run with it. That's the best accent I've ever heard you give. It was so good.
She lost her husband, who was murdered 19 months ago by...
And she hasn't found him yet?
No, he was murdered by a cartel member, had the funeral. She was pregnant with his children with twins.
The twins.
Yep. This is where the twins are getting involved. And this woman is rubbing it in her face that she has no one to do Mother's Day with because she's a single mom.
Hold on. Has she given birth yet?
Yeah, so the kids are like 10 months old at this point. And she's at the mom group for the play dates, and the whole group of them are just like, oh, so what are you doing? And they all go one by one of what their husbands and family, because this woman also doesn't have parents.
Oh, she's an orphan?
Yes.
Oh, man.
And her husband was murdered.
Well, in what way? In a cruel way? Or was this like the last guy where he was murdered?
Shot.
But was he like a tycoon of propane?
He was a prosecutor in a town. That's why the cartel went after him, because he was going after the cartel member guy who then shot him before he went into jail. And so she's living as a single mom, and that's a real embarrassment real embarrassment. I'm like, what are you talking about? This is not some woman who just got knocked up. Like, I do not think that's an embarrassment either. But as far as this whole Texan story's going...
Do you think if this story took place in anywhere other than Texas?
I don't know. I think that's
those
the only way...
Those babies would have been aborted.
Shut the hell up, Ryan. Anyway, so that's what this whole story is starting off with. She's sad. And this little detail is unfortunately important, and it pisses me off later because everyone in this story is an asshole. This friend group, assholes. Man in the story, asshole. Her adopted parents, assholes.
Wait, she has adopted parents?
She does have adopted parents. They're assholes too. But
what about ex-in-laws? Are they alive?
No in-laws. So the man that was shot
was also an orphan?
Ex-fiance.
Oh, she got knocked up out of wedlock.
Yeah.
And she was very pregnant when they were going to get married.
No. So I have a tiny detail that I'm withholding from you because in chapter 1...
These aren't his kids.
This is chapter 1, the story that we're being told. Because I found it just shocking information that this friend group is like so supportive and being total assholes knowing this woman's backstory. Anyways, hears about one of the most...
Maybe a backstory.
What do you call like the top bitch of the group?
The HBIC.
Yeah, her, right?
Mm-hmm.
What she's going to do is she's going to the country club with her mother and father, and her husband is going to get her and her mother a corsage for the event that they're going to do at whatever.
Why is this fancy?
Because they're rich Texans.
No, but I mean, like, why is a corsage fancy? A dozen roses is more expensive than a nice corsage.
It's like a tradition thing.
Oh, yeah, debutantes.
Yep. So this is the tradition thing. And she's just like really sad that she has nothing. She's just going to be by herself on Mother's Day in this story. So she's driving home. She goes to get groceries and she grabs something that her late fiance would have gotten her for Mother's Day. He would have gotten me this fudge or chocolate thing. So she goes and buys it for herself because she knows that if he was here, he would buy this for her. And she pulls into the driveway. Yeah,
you're making me really sad right now.
Fucking sad. We're only one chapter in.
I'm going to make you a list of things that I want to get you so that if I die, you go get them for yourself.
Don't feel bad for this man. Just wait.
Wait, which man? The ex-husband?
Give me 2 more seconds.
Sorry.
She pulls into the driveway and she sees a man on the steps with a Stetson hat looking down. She's like, it can't be. There's no way. No, you're being crazy. He's dead. This is impossible. And she gets out of the car and she's walking up and he lifts up his brim and she sees his eyes. It's him. He faked his death.
And assumed the identity of a wealthy gold mine tycoon?
No, he faked his death because the man that shot him from a distance on his ranch, his family's ranch.
I fucking knew there were going to be cows.
Of course there's cows in a wealthy ranch man, right? Who's like a lawyer.
This is like oilmen that happen to have cows. You're not a rancher.
Not in this world. His brother is ranching this land. But anyway, so he's on the ranch and he's been going after this cartel member who then shoots him, I'm assuming before he goes to jail. I don't know how this is playing out, that you're shooting the man
from jail. He's a good shot.
Yeah. But he shoots him from a distance. He falls into a creek or a water of some kind.
Survives.
And that's where he sneaks off. But he threw out all the items in his pants pockets and everything so people could see it drift to shore. And they assume that he died.
When you get shot, your pants empty themselves. He shit his pants and threw them in. So just to be legit, I went ahead and shit my pants and boxers and I threw them in the river. Not to worry.
So I don't know how far he swam. He swam somewhere in Texas.
Without a gunshot wound or with a gunshot?
With a gunshot. And on his own, he sewed it up. And he went to work as a ranch hand with an assumed name for the last 19 months.
I have a question. Do you think that at any point ICE was down there questioning this man? Excuse me, what is your name again? He's like, my name is Juan Valdez.
Well, I found it kind of problematic and I didn't want to get into it, but I'm just like, why is a county sheriff going after this cartel member instead of the feds? I don't know why they were doing it all by themselves. This is a small town.
This is like, did you know Steven Seagal? pretended to be a police officer for a while. He was like an honorary police officer.
No, I did not know this.
This is what it's giving me. Rich guy cosplaying as policeman so that he can be a problem to society.
This man is incredible at his job. He's been gone for 19
The hell
months.
is his job? Is his job miner, rancher, or cop, or prosecutor? So far, he's been a lawyer, a cop, gold mine tycoon, and a rancher.
He's a prosecutor, but I don't understand why.
Like a constable? Do they use the word constable?
They don't use that word.
Oh, well then.
Or at least not in the dialogue
So
text.
he's not. Wait, so he's a prosecutor and a deputy?
No, he's not a deputy. For sure not that.
He is literally just an attorney.
Yes. And the cartel was only going after him, but they started to threaten his fiancée, which is why he faked his death so they wouldn't go after her because they've solved their problem by only going after him. The very little that I know of the cartel is they don't give a fuck if they killed you only. They're like, you fucked with us, we're destroying everything that you care about.
You're an attorney. You're not. If you're a prosecuting attorney on behalf of the government in some way, murdering you does not end the case.
No, it doesn't. And the guy
all
still
of the
went to
evidence
jail.
that was submitted is still there.
And that's even what he says. He's like, he shot me, and he had all of this others. They caught him, and it still moved forward, and he's in jail. Why did he show up today? That guy died that morning.
So it's safe for him to come out of hiding.
Exactly.
Now he can reassume his identity as super prosecutor, rancher, miner man.
Exactly. So he found out from...
Bring her the chocolates and stuff that he was going to get her for Mother's Day. Do they just have 2 of them now?
Technically not Mother's Day yet. It's like a week away or something like that.
She bought her chocolates a week in
He doesn't
advance.
know she was pregnant.
Oh, these aren't his kids. Understood.
You would think so. So
Well, the kids are 10 months old. That means bare minimum
19 months. So this is the crux of this whole story, is that they got into a fight. They're engaged. They get into a fight. He says, I don't want to have kids. She's like, I want to have kids. This isn't going to work out. You have to decide now. Do you want kids or not with me? He's like, no, I don't. Then she's like, then we're not going to work out. And they broke up. The next morning, he gets shot. Nobody knew that they broke up that night except for her. Days later, she finds out she's pregnant.
Is she being tried for the crime? Is this the Karen Reed story?
No, it's not. Don't get me started on Karen Reed's story. I could do a whole podcast and even debate it on pausing this one to do a little side podcast all about the Karen Reed story. But no. So she found out that she's pregnant. So now her fiance's dead.
And how long had he remained dead?
19 months. So pregnant, 10-month-old kiddos.
So he knocked her up like days before.
Yep.
He was
technically 2 weeks probably before, and then they broke up. When you think about how long it takes to get a pregnancy test, it's semantics. It doesn't matter.
5 days before your first missed period?
But the part that shocked me, and it didn't even click until partway through the book, I'm like, wait a minute. How did you know that this cartel member died that morning? That fast, the details. But you didn't know that the woman of your dreams that you thought about supposedly every single day that you were gone, the one that you were doing this all for, escaping and being a ranch hand on some random ranch, you didn't know that she had kids?
He didn't like accidentally stumble across a Facebook where like just me and my 2 besties.
Never looked into it, but he was keeping track of when that cartel member just coincided. This doesn't sound like a young guy that shot him either. It's not like a 70-year-old man that just died.
Oh, he died of old age.
No, he just died because he was like, I'm assuming stabbed in jail.
Oh, we're assuming.
So this man intended to be gone for decades. He had no intention of coming back.
Well, not at least until the kids were grown. He didn't want to raise kids.
He didn't know about the kids.
That's
but
what I'd say too.
Thing of like him coming back, I'm like, what a wild coincidence.
Also, you want 0 kids and now you have 2? That's crazy. But legally, he's not responsible for him because he is dead. Therefore,
they do kind of mention they had to work out some details to get his license back to be an attorney.
Okay, all right. You had my attention, now you have my curiosity.
They don't get into it. Unlike your book that goes into the pricing, the quality of the beans, and the roast.
Oh, the quality of all of the ingredients.
No.
The type of ovens used when they have to produce more and the way that they're going to get rid of the heat from the extra oven. The building isn't large enough to accommodate the exchange they need for the air.
I feel like my book was more fantasy because you have to assume so many things that just are
assuming this
unbelievable.
dude's walking around with a 50 beaver Stetson. We don't know.
With the broadest of shoulders, the tightest of asses.
Well, that goes without saying. Texas cowboy.
Exactly. So we're like 2 chapters into me telling this story. I'm so sorry, but it is a very important part of this entire book. This Texan boy talks to her and he's giving the whole detail that I just told you. He talks about his fake death, all these things. This woman is in shock. I even think she passes out at some point because obviously she thought this man was dead.
Like a real Texas man, he just slaps her awake. You're hysterical, Karen. Wow.
He's waking her up and she's like coming away. She's like, oh, my children, like the boys. He's like, what?
They're in a hot car.
Yes, they were.
Shit.
I don't know how long she was passed
damaged?
out. No.
Oh, okay.
So she must have passed out very shortly because she's like coming to it. She's like, the kids, I just meant to grab groceries and come in. I didn't grab the kids first. And so to him, he sees her with groceries and thought this, but
It's like her tits look great.
so they go out and she brings them in. She hands one to him. And in this man's mind, he's like, she's already met another man and had kids like she told me she'd wanted.
And I told her I didn't want them, and she just throws one on me?
Well, he's assuming that these are another man's kids, and he's looking at how big these kids are like, damn, she moved fast after I
They look
died.
nothing like him.
They have to. She doesn't mention it.
He's like, this one's got girl shoulders. Must be yours.
So he finds out that they're his kids in instant dad mode. He is, wow, I can't, like, these are my kids.
To be fair, that's a real thing, honestly.
Instantly. And as he was outside, a neighbor saw, in like true Texas small town fashion, gossip has spread through the town. It's afternoon and everybody knows about this, what's going on. But let me get my notes. I think he just stays the night. He's like, can I stay here? And she's like, yeah, of course. Where else are you going to stay? And he helps with the boys. Next morning.
Diapers and all.
All of it.
Good man.
Yep.
All right.
This entire book is just him being a dad and co-parenting.
I mean, that honestly sounds great. It's not?
I think it is. I think it was just more the ridiculousness of he's just doing dad normal expectation things. Do you know how we've had conversations about dads will do the standard that they're expected to do?
People
and it's
give him this fucking pat on the back.
Exactly. That's this whole book is him just taking care of the boys. He has no job this entire book. He's obviously independently wealthy, so he's being stay-at-home dad this entire time and helping her. And he's getting this grand, like, you are so incredible of a dad. You're better than all the other dads in this book. You are just...
But in a field of shitbirds.
Yes.
One meadowlark looks like a fucking eagle.
And
that's a shitty
when you
analogy.
see it, he pissed me off later. But the majority of this book was him just being an amazing dad. So let me see where we're at.
But he was actually just being a standard dad.
A standard
just
dad.
Present.
Yeah. You've been gone for 10 months of their lives. You found, like, I can see where there'd be some shock of, like, walking into this.
How old are the kids at the end of the book?
1 year old. 1 year old.
This book takes place over the course of 2 months.
Yes.
For 8 weeks, he manages to be a good dad.
I would say 5 chapters was almost every hour of meeting people, of him telling him he's alive. Like, we meet this person. We're like, we heard the rumors. And they have that discussion. Calls his brother, I heard the rumors. And then calls her sisters, which we'll come into later. She's a triplet. That's why she has twins.
This makes sense.
And it's really fucked up. In case I forget to say it later, she's a triplet.
And the other 2 are with parents?
No, the other 2 stayed in foster care. The adoptive parents only wanted one of the 3.
But she was the best of show. So
they all looked identical. They just wanted a blue-eyed blonde, and they were like, oh, we only need one.
It's a little bit like going to get a puppy.
That's how they treated it.
Oh, this one came up to me. That's the one.
So the other 2 were left in foster care.
They don't get a home.
And so part of this book is her getting a relationship with her sisters, which is great.
Did they also get rich husbands with crazy shoulders and abs that you could wash dishes on?
No, this is definitely in a real world scenario. This girl would piss me off. You were handed everything. and you still have the audacity to complain about your life.
Yeah. Seems a little off.
But yet the sisters really adore her and love her. So that's really great. And she's getting the sisterly things that she needs.
That's excellent to hear.
We learn that his parents were killed in a plane crash, so he relied on his brother, and that's why he didn't want kids. That was confusing, I think.
He blames himself for the plane crash, and he's worried the kids are going to get him?
No, I think his parents were just really shitty parents, and they died in a plane crash.
But they were rich. Doesn't that make up for being a shitty parent?
I don't know, but
if you're a shitty rich parent, I'm calling you out.
You go ahead. But he's really scared to be a dad because he's scared to turn out like his dad. But as he's saying those sentences, all I knew was his parents died in a plane crash. I'm like, what they do? They died and they weren't present? They couldn't help that.
It turned out a little crispy.
Later we find out they slammed doors. At another point, he's upset because they snuck out and got chicken pox. And he was upset at his parents?
His parents snuck out and got chicken pox?
No, him and his brother snuck out and they got chicken pox. And somehow that had to do with being upset with his parents. His parents didn't approve of them sneaking out. His parents didn't.
Well, didn't get vaccinated.
That has to be it.
He's
all I could think
younger
of.
than we are. There was no chickenpox vaccine when we were young.
That has to be it. That's all I could piece together. He was just, well, you remember we snuck out and we got chickenpox and that was really scary. And I don't want to turn out like mom and dad. I'm like, what?
What kid was scared of getting chickenpox? I remember when I got chickenpox, I was stoked. I'm like, I don't have to go to school.
He made it so traumatic getting chickenpox.
Well, it was tough. The maid had to lather him down with calamine.
Clearly. But anyways, his parents died in a plane crash. He relied on his brother, and he doesn't...
The same brother that got him chickenpox, I might add.
So he has two brothers. One he doesn't like, one he does like.
Oh.
Guess which one got the ranch?
Ooh.
The one he likes. He faked his death by some dude in a cartel that he convicted. He stitched himself, worked on a ranch, laid low until it was safe. He did it to keep her safe. His family owns a gold mine, and that's how he crafted the engagement ring for her that she wears around her neck.
Wait, he went down, mined the gold, and then became a jeweler also.
You know
he
that's not it.
He smelted this bad boy down.
That's too much effort for a rich man.
Okay.
I'm sure that...
He used gold from his mine and paid a jeweler to make her a special ring that on the inside says, I'm not really dead.
No, but before he was shot, he proposed to her, then they broke up, then he died so that she put the ring around a necklace that she wears.
As you do.
Yes, and now that he's back, obviously she's like, we're broken up, but nobody knows this. And he sees the ring at some point. He's like, she does still love me.
She's like, no, it was your cock ring is what I've been telling people. Yeah, he had size 7 penis.
At some point, his step-grandma shows up to the house.
He has a step-grandma?
Yes. And I think this is going to be important.
Wait, he has step-parents?
His grandpa owned a silver mine. So there's a gold mine and a silver mine. This silver mine, his grandpa owned, who his grandpa also married this other woman, who then shows up to the house to be like, it is true, I heard the rumors. Well, your grandpa died since you've been gone. And as you know, he owned the silver mine that fell in and killed 50 people back in the 60s. And with his dying will, I am here to grant every grandchild's wish. That is his will. I don't know what you want to say.
They're getting the silver mine? Is that the idea? Or she's just walking around like Publishers Clearinghouse, like, here's a check.
Yes, it's like that. And she's going to grant your wish. And
I wish to have my grandpa back. Lies.
So what do you think okay, let me step this back a minute. It's hours later. He showed up around 10 a.m. We're now in the afternoon. Grandma shows up because rumor goes fast. She says, I got to tell you, your grandpa died. I'm here to grant whatever wish you want. What do you wish most for in the entire world?
Wish my wife would have never gotten pregnant.
He wishes to be a good dad.
Oh. And she said, listen, I'm not a goddamn genie. I'm a rich lady.
They just have like this odd talk. And the ex-fiance, whatever you want to call it, she goes into another room, but she like overhears him say this. And then in her mind, she's just like, oh my God, does he really mean it? It can't be, because he told me he never wants to have kids. This doesn't make sense. And this entire book is her just being like, there's no way you actually want to be a dad. He's like, no, I definitely want to be a dad. I even told my step granny that I just met for the first time and found out that my grandpa died, that I want to be a good dad. And she never does grant his wish. I'm assuming she's just paying him monthly.
How could she grant that wish?
I don't know, but she's just like,
she's not a fairy godmother. She's a rich old lady.
Yeah, there's no answer other than I'm assuming that he's been able to afford to be a stay-at-home dad this entire time by her paying his bills in some way.
Okay.
But that's never said explicitly, at least not in the dialogue. Gotta give a disclaimer there. So they just have some weird talk about, you're going to be a great dad. And
what's led you to believe this? This man pretended to be dead to not have to accept consequences of his actions.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, I don't trust him.
He didn't know that she was pregnant, to be fair, but at the same time,
I feel like you
faked
still faked your death.
Yeah.
The guy was literally going to prison. You had to dodge one bullet. You're okay.
And the day goes on. I think they have the night. He's still co-parenting. That's part of this book, is just him co-parenting. Next morning, he wakes up. She's up early. She's like, you want coffee? I got breakfast. I got this all going. I got to get started at work. He's like, how have you done all of this and taken care of the kids? Like, this is shocking. I'm exhausted. And she kind of calls him out on it. She's like, yeah, it is exhausting taking care of kids. He's only co-parenting at this point. He has not done everything on his own. Did she die
and then he has to take over the kids?
No, it's kind of a story about how much better life is going for her with another partner, with a equal partner.
And to be fair, this does sound great.
Yeah, it is. And so for her, she's been a single mom, and he's stepping up and being an equal partner. Like, what do you need? What about this? How are we going to work together? They go grocery shopping together. They do tasks together. And again, I see you and me do this stuff and have been for the last 15 years. So this
But if I fake my death and then come back,
you'd
be obviously so impressed. You'd be like, wow, he really did do a lot of laundry.
Yeah, it was.
Keep this guy around.
And he does laundry. He's doing dishes. All these things.
I bet he also makes laundry and dishes. He can do the laundry and dishes.
But yeah, he's helping out, and it's amazing for her. She got a job done because she's like a web designer that would take normally 2 months. She got it done early. And she's like, wow, this is so nice. And it's just her kind of taking in a moment of, this is almost too good to be true to have an equal partner like this. And it was really sad that this book was romanticizing something that should be the standard.
What you're feeling is exactly how I felt about Xaden Riorson.
Oh, goodness.
I'm so sorry to tell you, but this is exactly it.
Started.
It feels annoying because you're like, no, they are doing what they should be doing. Why the fuck are we giving them praise?
Okay.
It's just, good job, you're meeting the standard. I'm not going to give you an extra cookie because you're just doing your goddamn job.
Well, in this, it's really nice. And we're only like 2 days into him being back home, and they bang one out. And then
How closed was the door?
Very close. She sat on his lap and they're making out. I'm like, whoa, we're getting some spice in this book. And I think he unbuttons her shirt, takes off her bra. They go to the bedroom, literally close the door, and then it goes to the next.
He just left the shirt and the bra in the living room? He's a poor housekeeper.
Whatever. He's been helping out cleaning. I think he took care of it the next morning.
Okay.
Given what we've gotten from the story. But we're only a couple days into him being here. They sleep together. She's like, I regret that. This is too soon. This is moving too quickly. It's a lot to take in. And I agree with her.
She hasn't been laid, though, since he died.
No, of course not.
That had to be a crazy orgasm.
I don't know if we ever learned about him, if he was sleeping around while she was gone. I'm assuming not, because he said he thought about her every single day.
Well, he could think about her while he was with a lot lizard or something.
Maybe. Then the next day, because now we're about a few days in, I'm assuming this happened on a Monday. Now we're on like a Wednesday. He's meeting with the sheriff, and the sheriff is just like, you can have your old job back. Not even just
the sheriff is appointing a prosecutor?
It's a small town. After he was killed, they brought in somebody temporary, but they can't be there long term. So he's just like, you can have it all back.
Temporary? That dude's been there almost 2 years.
Almost, but he doesn't, I guess, want to stay. And If this guy wants the job, he can have it, all of it back. This is a big decision. The sheriff's just like, but you're going to take the job. He's like, well, I got to think about it. Why does he got to think about it? Because he wants to be a dad. And he works so hard being a prosecutor. Long nights, early mornings. That doesn't...
To be fair, I think that's real.
He doesn't think he can be a good dad if he's a prosecutor.
It would be easier to be a good dad if you weren't.
Yeah. So these are things that he's thinking about. And he's like, I don't know yet. He's like, well, while you're thinking, we need to throw you a party. This Saturday, we're going to host a party in the whatever park. Now we jump to the party. While we're at the party, everyone's just like, wow, blah, blah, blah. Heard you took the job back. He's like, oh, I don't know yet. And the boys are saying, dad, 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 dad. Their speech really improves throughout this book.
And also their ownership of him as their father.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's been maybe a week, and they're already saying dad, dad. Personally,
smart boys.
Personally, I think they're just at that milestone, and they happen to say it, and the guy is just there.
Fair
That's
enough.
my...
They're not going to bring up how they said it to the 15 other dudes that their moms had carting through the place.
So she's having a real moment with this of, oh, wow, yeah.
Don't call him that. You'll scare him.
It was more of her feeling like this could be something, but I don't want to get excited about it. She doesn't want to get her hopes up. And
wouldn't it have been funny if he would have pretended that he had a heart attack at the barbecue? And he's like, oh, I got my chest. Quick ambulance, haul me away. He's like, well, we were so close. And then the start of the next book is he's got like a construction hat. You know what I mean? He's got his hard hat on and he like tips his hard hat up. He's like, I've thought about it.
Oh,
boys are 9 years old. I'm ready to be a dad.
I'm ready now. And there's a mention of because he's no longer a prosecutor, he's been working on a ranch. He's got a tan. He's ripped. He's muscular. He's got this bod back. Because at some point he also goes and he sees his brother and they talk about their parents. He's just like, our parents were really bad. I don't want to be like them. He's just, his brother doesn't think about his past. And this guy does think about his past. Because he's an adult. He's kind of like, I'm going to be who I'm going to be. And I don't care what my parents were.
In spite of whatever that was, this is who I am.
Exactly. And that's kind of the speech that he's getting from his brother of, you can be a good dad.
Do you think that these people that write these books have ever met ranchers?
I don't.
Ranchers are not exactly big, strong people, generally. I've not seen a fit rancher that is more than 22 years old.
This guy's a ranch hand, though. He's been riding horses daily for the last 18
horses need to ride you for you to get that tough. I'm sorry, but you can be overweight and ride a horse.
It's true.
It's core strength, but it's not like you're actually...
But this guy has a Stetson hat. So obviously he's got to be fit while he's being a ranch hand.
You know who I think of when I think of a black Stetson hat?
Huh?
Your grandpa.
Oh, yeah. He wears the same, like, he has like 7 shirts of the same exact one.
They're all panhandle slim pearl buttons and his black vest.
Something important that happens at this party, she overhears somebody. She doesn't see who it is, who is talking about, well, I heard that he actually faked his death because he found out she was pregnant and he didn't want to be a dad.
Like that was the most efficient way to handle this.
In some ways, it kind of sounded true. The guy didn't want to have kids. She found out a few days later. So while the
But how would he have found out?
I don't...
To her mind. She knows this isn't true.
She knows this isn't true.
She could not like smell the pregnancy on her and be like, she's going to find out soon. I need to end this.
So this ends up being that asshole of a woman at the beginning of the book is gossiping.
Tabitha.
No, Tabitha is the main character.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, she's like, bless your heart,
I knew
Tabitha.
there would be a Tabitha. Oh yeah, you read that.
Yeah.
That's why I knew. Oh.
So it's the asshole friend that's spreading rumors that he faked his death to get away from her.
Does her name start with a C?
Yes, I think so. No, that's a different
Is it
book.
a Connie or something like that?
I didn't care enough to pay attention. This woman pissed me off. I'm like, how could you treat a mom this way? Like, it was so rude.
To be fair, mom, dad, or a person who doesn't have children, don't be an asshole to them.
Well, she talks, they have their little girl talk later. She's like, I'm actually just really jealous and I'm really sorry. I'm like, you weren't jealous when she was a single mom. You were just a bitch. She ends up being jealous later that he steps up more than her husband. And
he's handsome.
And he's
handsome. And her husband is just a pile of shit.
So they have their party. That happens. The gossip. And he's just a stay-at-home dad now. He doesn't want to be an attorney. He may go work on the ranch with his brother. His step-grandma showed up to bring gifts and talk about her estranged daughter. That never came to be anything later. This woman just opened up. His step-grandma, who was supposed to be granting his wish of becoming the dad that he always wanted to be. No, not that he always wanted to be. That he wants to be now. and she has an estranged daughter. And they're like, oh, that's so sad. You should probably go find her. No, I think the daughter's estranged for a reason, but I guess we'll never know.
What I think is great is this could have, if this would have taken place in Alabama, her mom could have been the estranged daughter. They could have been cousins.
They could be. And I thought it was going to be something like that. Of like, oh, it all came together. That's who this estranged daughter is.
Like the twins' eyes are a little far apart. What's happening?
No, we never learn of this. So I guess Mother's Day is now a few days away, and she talks to her incredibly wealthy adoptive parents who adopted her because of her blue eyes and blonde hair, and they left the sisters in foster care. I told you about that one.
Just a fucking weird Aryan.
It was weird. It's just horrible and sad. So she's calling her adoptive mom, and her adoptive mom is like, you guys are going to get married though, right? You have kids. And she's like, well, we're still working that out. She's like, well, you should get married here at the country club and have a really big wedding and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, but I don't want that. And so it's showing you this conflict that they're having and whatnot, and that her adoptive mom isn't listening. And she's definitely the type that is like, I'll tell you what to do and you're going to act this way.
Very type A.
Yes. And the mom is saying, well, I'm going to make reservations for all of us to meet together, the 6 of us. She's like, wait, it's just going to be me and the boys and you, right? She's like, no, your father's, of course, going to want to come. And we want to see handsome cowboy. His name is West. Classic name. His name is West. And
West or Wes?
West with a T.
Okay. All right.
He's also going to come to the early Mother's Day. So she called her mom because she's like, we should do a Mother's Day for you, but a few days early. She's like, why is that? It's like, well, you told me that you're going to be doing this on actual Mother's Day. So they're doing it a few days early.
How the fuck did she have nobody to do anything for on Mother's Day? This guy shows up and now she's got shit to go on Mother's Day.
Yeah, when she was talking to her friends, I guess, but she doesn't have a good relationship with her mom. She's said that they never call each other. They
Strange.
text.
Dun, dun, dun.
More than I think that she was willing to admit.
Okay.
But they have this planned, and he's coming with. They meet at the country club for an early Mother's Day, pretending to still be engaged, him and her. They don't know that they technically broke up. And he's just like, oh, it should be easy. And in his head, he's like, because I still love her. And she's like, oh, no, they're going to find out that we're actually not engaged because I'm still questioning things.
Just tell him about how you had sex the other night.
Yeah.
That'll sell it.
Now, this is where it gets sad. She shows up at the country club feeling out of her element, see her mother and father, adoptive parents. They sit down and she pulls out a corsage for her mother, just like that one bitchy friend said that she was going to do for her mother. And she says, hey, I know this isn't something we've done, but it's a tradition for some families. And I got you this and I picked these flowers because I thought you would like them. And her mother was like, oh.
Bless your heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This isn't quite the place, but thank you. And she puts it in her purse. And then later she digs out presents for the boys and the corsage falls out of her purse and her mom doesn't pick it up. And it's just like fallen out of the way and going to be left there. And she's obviously fucking hurt and she leaves and romantic cowboy can tell that she's hurting.
He picks up the corsage.
No,
and he puts it on the old lady and he says, now you're going to fucking wear this.
No,
and
he
we're going
didn't.
to take a family photo. You're going to be civil to my lady or I'm going to murder your husband because I know what it takes to actually kill someone.
He doesn't do that. He goes and he reassures her and is just being comforting and whatnot. And at some point, the adoptive mom says, you guys are going to get married in this location. And he's like, we're going to get married wherever she wants to get married. And that's him standing up for her. And she respected that.
Because it came from a man.
Exactly. Honestly, that's how it fucking read.
Yeah.
Because the daughter said 2-3 times by this point, I want to get married in this small town in their church. And mom was kind of disgusted. But as soon as he said that, she's like, okay. And that was the end of adoptive mom and dad. I guess they didn't really show back up in the rest of the story.
To be fair, they were estranged and it was Mother's Day. It makes sense that's the only time.
So then it's actual Mother's Day. He surprises her.
With the corsage.
No, he didn't. But he did like a whole party setup. She wakes up and coffee's made, breakfast there. She's in her pajamas. Oh my God, he did get her corsage actually. And he got her sisters. So she reconnected with her sisters and they showed up.
When he was dead.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. But they aren't very close. And throughout this whole event of things going on, they become closer. And he got them that. One of the sisters, I think both sisters actually take the kids and they just have a cute day. And he just stepped up as a dad, and it was really adorable. It's what she wanted.
This sounds like a positive thing.
It is. It's all great things. At this point, I was starting to feel a little better about him faking his death. I was like, all right, I guess we can slowly start moving on.
You see the cover of your book, by the way. I just realized we got photo evidence of this guy.
I think a lot of his decision-making reminds me of a 20-year-old, but he's got to be in his 30s.
Yeah, and the cover, his hat doesn't fit right.
Don't worry about him.
That's too small.
The sisters give her a photo of the three of them as babies with their mother before she died in a car accident. And this was such a beautiful gift, and they're just like, you should recreate this photo with your boys at this location.
And then die. No, I'm just teasing. Sorry.
No. And one of the boys goes, love, love, love. And they're like, that is lovely. That is love. So now the boys have said, mama, dada, and love. Incredible work, honestly.
Yeah,
Their
raising
language.
them right.
Yes, they're doing incredible now that they have a father in their life.
I mean, that's what it takes.
That's what it took.
A traditional family dynamic.
Now the boys' birthday is coming up. And again, joint birthday planning. They're going together. He's already done the bulk of the work. Again, he's not working. She's been working and taking care of the kids. So they're both, he's stepped up more, I would say. He is doing more of the parenting right now, I think, while she's doing stuff. It's great. Again, that's the majority of this book is really just enjoying co-parenting as equals.
Crazy thing to me, the fantasy of a middle-aged woman that this book is written for.
Yes.
It's just a man doing his share.
Yes.
That's so
I
fucking
was
funny.
So unimpressed with it.
What's so funny is it's the same fantasy that you have in the other books. It is the same fantasy.
Yeah, in a way, yeah, it is.
I think this is honestly so heartwarming in the dumbest way because, yes, I'm not impressed. I like that this dude's taking this on, though, and I have more of just a genuine appreciation for the fact that somebody wrote the male character to where, okay, sure, he still had to be rich, and he had to be yoked, and he had to be tan, and he had to be handsome. But the key point of this appears to be that he's just trying to be a supportive human being.
Yep.
And I really like it.
And it gets, honestly, kind of better. So they have their joint shopping for the birthday. Step-grandma shows back up. I'm only bringing this up because it sounds like this was important information. It never came up again. It was never important.
It's like, the FBI found my daughter.
She said somebody's following her. There's a woman who's been following her. She now works at the same hotel that she's living at.
Wait, she works at a hotel and she's got silver mine money?
Yeah, she is actually out of town and she showed up to grant the wishes of all the grandchildren.
Okay.
For the grandpa that died.
Grandma works at a hotel, though.
No, grandma is staying at the hotel, living there for a few months, and the woman that she thinks is following her or watching her now works at the hotel. And this guy is like, I'm not a prosecutor. I'm not here to solve things. This sounds like a you problem. And he does. He's just like, not my problem.
Something I learned in my 18 months of death was the importance of boundaries.
He does. He's just like, I'm here to be a dad, not to work. Literally is what he does. He's like, you should probably go talk to this person about that.
Sheriff's over there.
Yeah, that's what he was doing. I'm just like, okay. He's like, I'm a dad. Nobody's taking my time away from my boys right now, is what he's doing.
So I really admire where he's at with this. However, if my grandma came to me and was like, there's a good chance I'm about to be off. Remember that time where you got shot? It could happen to me and there's no creek.
That's what I thought. I thought the cartel was kind of following and watching his family or doing something.
Yeah.
We don't know. I don't know.
Never find out.
Nope. I thought it was maybe her estranged daughter trying to see if she wanted to have a relationship. I'm like, wouldn't you know that's your daughter, though? But It's been a few decades.
Yeah, and with that silver mine money, baby, she could have a whole new face.
No clue. Now we're back to the mom group because they ran into her as they were birthday shopping, right? So this bitchy of a woman that we've met a few times.
Wait, the mom group, the entire group goes shopping together?
No. So the bitchy one, I was saying kind of like the mom group is coming back into the story.
Understood.
Bitchy mom is at the store and she sees the two of them shopping. And she does a whole bless your heart thing again of just like, you've been through so much, blah, blah, blah. And
give us the accent. Come on.
I can't do the accent.
You
I only got the one time. I can't do it again.
Yeah, bless your heart.
And she's like, you're coming back to the mom party group thing, right? The play date.
Going to the pants party?
You're coming to the play date that we have every Tuesday, right? And she's like, oh, yeah, I don't know. She's like, you weren't there last week. And kind of judging her for it. I'm like, what the fuck? Her man just showed back up. Of course she wasn't going to be there last week, and she might not be here next week. But again, this woman
Wes will be there.
He asked to go with her. He's like, can I go with you? And she's like, well, it's kind of a mom thing. I don't know if you would want to come. And he's like, well, it sounds like it's for the boys to have a play date and sounds like something a dad should be there for.
Does he ever utter the words, Pampers melt in a Maytag dryer?
Are you okay? What does that mean?
Adri, there's a classic song.
Oh my God, that's a song? Oh, wait, I know this song. Who is this?
Pampers melt in a Maytag dryer.
Yeah, there we go.
One drawer higher.
Yes.
Rewind Barney for the 18th time.
I loved that song growing up.
Me too. Mr. Mom was an amazing song. Also, I just really wanted a dad then. I was like, oh man, dads would be so cool.
And I learned on Spotify you can tag songs onto episodes. So I'm going to be tagging Mr. Mom on this one.
Who sings Mr. Mom?
I don't know.
I think it's Kenny Chesney.
Wow, sounds like it. This guy's probably based off of him.
No, this guy is tall. Wears a black Stetson. Kenny Chesney famously does not wear a black Stetson.
But overall,
straw baby all the way with that guy.
This man sees that this girl is upsetting his girl. And they're technically not dating. They're just co-parenting. He's really trying to work into...
This woman's upsetting the mother of his children.
Exactly. And he wants to show up. He's like, this sounds like it's for my boys. I think I should be able to come. And she's like, you know what? Sure. Come with us. It doesn't matter. Why not? So they show up and all the moms are like,
who's that handsome cowboy?
Who's that dad? Being a dad. Look at him play with the boys. Look at him. He showed up holding both of the kids also. That was a detail. Kid on each hip. He was the one holding. So mom stood there not holding anything. He had it all. I bet he even had the diaper bag.
First of all, let's not act like this is outrageous. We spent our years doing this.
I know.
Now, what I will say is I used to get insulted at this. Like, it took me a long time to understand that people were trying to be complimentary in a way that wasn't meant to be shitty. When they would give you compliments for being an active dad, like when we'd take the kids to the park, or I would take the kids to the park and go do shit. It was so upsetting to hear people be like, oh, well, you're doing such a great job with the kids, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like...
People would actually say, oh, you're babysitting the kids today?
It was so fucking upsetting to me. I called out my mom on it one time. Because my mom was like, oh, so you're babysitting the kids? I'm like, I'm not babysitting anything. These are my kids.
Yeah.
I'm just hanging out with my kids. And she still pulls this every so often. And people really overcomplicate how hard it is to be a good dad.
Because if I saw a couple where one is working, she is working full time while taking care of the kids. So she is running her own business in order to have that flexibility, is what she said. She's like a graphic designer.
She's doing contract work.
Yep, exactly. Yep. And she likes the flexibility of working when the boys are napping and when they're sleeping, or just when they're in a good enough mood that she can be working on it and whatnot. But if you have a dad that isn't working and he's not taking care of the kids, that would be weird.
I will tell you.
What would he be doing? He would go see his brother and just be hanging out with him. That's all he would be doing.
Here is what irks me about these stories. It is a great story. I'm glad it's being told. But as somebody who spent 10 years working 250 hours a month, still doing half of the household chores, and still co-parenting, to hear that this man does not have a job and he's doing the basics and maybe even more. But I'm like, motherfucker, if she has to do so much as scrape a dish, you could be doing more. And it's not that I think it should be the expectation, but if this is a fantasy, this motherfucker's giving foot rubs every night, making sure that she's feeling well. Those boys, it's not just he's hanging out with the boys. Those boys are learning all kinds of cool shit. Like, you know what I mean? There's so much time. And spending time with your kids. Most of you listening to this from our analytics are younger and probably don't have children. For those of you that do, you know that spending every moment you can is like the most important thing. You don't have that many years.
Yeah.
You don't get that long. And then they're teenagers, and then they don't want to spend all that time with you. Sorry, got too personal there real fast.
But yeah, he's coming to the play date, and I think that it would be out of the norm for a man to show up to an all women, like a mom group. I can see that, But
in general, you kind of avoid that to prevent the moms from feeling uncomfortable.
yeah. And I think for him, he was just like, can I want to continue spending time with my boys. And she's like, yeah, why not? It's just moms hanging out and all of us getting together. There was no men allowed type of thing. Turns out men just didn't want to show up to this thing. And that was stated.
Well, and I think it's an interesting take too, because as a dude, he hasn't been a dad long enough yet to know.
I think it's maybe been 8 days.
Yeah. So give him a few months. He'll get there. But you will be cautious going to the park with your kids when it's just you and your kids for 2 reasons, both of which are equally a problem. Number 1, you're a dude at a park with a bunch of kids. That makes women uncomfortable because unless they saw you arrive with children, they don't know if you're a weirdo or a creep. I'm just as guilty as the moms that are there are because I watch every dude at the park like a hawk.
Yeah.
Not that women couldn't be weirdos too. Everybody's equal, but it's the dude ones that I'm most leery of. And the second reason is if they don't assume you're a creep, they know you're there with your kids, women will come talk to you just because you were there playing with your kids at a park. It is the oddest thing where they just assume that it's, I don't know, like it's an acceptable thing to do. Like they just kind of generate conversations with you that you have to be very
took it as
of.
You're one of the safe men because clearly you're a good man to show up and want to be here with your kids without your wife. Or I also thought that they thought you were single and that was attractive.
And I think that sometimes was the case also because I'm a regular ass looking human being. Nowhere do you get the same attention you do as taking your kids to the park.
But you are also thirst trapping these women by being an active parent at the playground, by playing with your kids and the other kids, because the other kids are like, whoa, we want to
join. Tree wants to play with us.
Yeah, we want to play this game too. We want to be involved. And they're just like, oh my God, how cute. And then I show up at the park and I'm like, who the fuck are you? What are you doing? Knock that off. You sit your ass down and you just watch your kids play. You don't act like that in front of these ladies. I'm just kidding.
No, but you know what I mean? It would give you pause. Because I remember there were certain times where I'm like, I would love to go play with you guys at the park. Instead, I need to just chill here in this corner and watch you guys play.
Because you were also I would tell you to pull back because you were very, I don't want them to fall or get hurt. I'm like, you have to let them explore. Let them learn some things.
They could fall, but I could catch them if I were.
Yes, let them have distance from us because when you're at home, they only get so far from you inside the house. When you're at a park, they can get a little more distance and learn a little bit more of that independence. And that is something you struggled with.
I still struggle with. But I liked that when I was home, I just wanted to be near them.
Yeah.
And they liked being near me, and we could play games together, and it was a great time. It was just like, oh, man, if there's other parents at this park, I'm going to have to sit over here. Because people are odd. I can see why this dude maybe would examine this as it's less of men are not allowed as maybe it's not the wisest place for this dude to be.
Well, and in this situation, it was fine that he showed up. And the bitchy woman that gossiped, they ended up having a talk. And she says, you're so lucky. And she's like, what? You're so lucky to have someone because she shares that in her relationship, she's so alone, but it feels lonelier because he is there and not doing anything. She's also taking care of twins all by herself with a man that only works and comes home and does nothing.
He's just occupying space.
Yeah, I think so. And so she's very jealous of this woman and they make up and I'm like, wait a minute. You were still a bitch when she was a single mom and you were just doing it just to be an asshole.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you. This does not preclude her assholery.
But now they're best friends and things worked out, I guess. I don't know. I didn't forgive this woman.
Your husband showed up out of nowhere. You forgive him. She sounds like a very forgiving woman.
She clearly is. And
that's
then
the right kind of person to have twins, to be fair. It's going to be a game of patience for the rest of her life.
Now, the next day, this is where things really take a turn. He is saying, go out, have a girls' night. She hasn't had a girls' night in forever since she's been a mom because she couldn't. She was a single mom. She hasn't gone out. He's like, I'll take care of the kids. So it's again this, you have your night off. And I think it's really great that she gets this moment and that he is doing this. He's like, I got it. I'll take care of him. So she leaves and the boys start crying. And I'm like, wow, I'm kind of looking forward to this being written that he's going to tough it out. The kids are crying and he's going to take... No, that's not what happened.
Did he call his mom? Oh, his mom's dead.
His mom's dead, yeah.
He called his grandma?
No, he texted her saying that the kids are crying and he can't do it.
Motherfucker, you're supposed to keep that shit a state secret. You wait until they cry themselves to sleep.
He tried. He's like, I can't bother her. I think she just now got to the bar and they're crying. Well, like the first one's crying, then the second one's crying. Now they're both crying. And he has this like delirious, like,
He's a new dad, to be fair.
Yeah. So they write that in where he's just like, you know, after a bomb goes off and you lose your hearing type of thing.
Straight up tinnitus.
Yeah. It was like that type of story going on. But... So she's at the bar. She's having a great time. She's talking to her sisters of like, I think I love him. I think I'm going to tell him that I love him. They're like, yes, you should do that. You need to do this. And then she's like, oh my God, I got a text. And it says,
baby's crying.
Yeah, it was that type of text. And I'm like, oh my God, like, come on, dude. I thought this was going to be a fantasy where you were going to handle this all by yourself.
Who's this for?
No. And she's like, this is so unlike him. And so I thought, oh, we're getting into a story about that woman that was following Mima. Like somebody took his phone because it ended his chapter of things got worse. No, it just meant that the boys cried even more is what it meant. And that she tells him, well, check his temperature of the one that was crying the most, I guess. I don't know. So he's feeling like a shitty dad, like, oh my God, why didn't I think about this? I need to go get the thermometer. He gets the thermometer. The baby's fever is 104. And they're like, oh my God, we got to go to the ER. And this is where you have the whole delirious moment of shell shock going on, because the next thing he realizes, it's the woman, the mom. She's like, West, come with me, snapping her fingers in his face type of thing. I'm home, give me the boys. He's like, oh, whoa. He didn't realize he already handed one of them off to a sister.
His sister's there?
Her sister.
Sister's
because they went out drinking.
Oh, okay.
So she's like, you need to drive and take me and baby to the hospital. We need to get him checked out. This is a high fever. Sisters are going to take care of other baby. So they go to the hospital. It's an ear infection.
They're not doing dick about that. Give them some Motrin. They'll give them some monoclast.
Yeah, so...
Clear up.
That one's an allergy medicine.
Oh, whatever.
Goober.
What's the shit? You know what I'm talking about?
Amoxicillin is what you're thinking of.
Yes. I can remember her name.
So the doctor's just like, it's an ear infection, Tylenol, everything's going to be fine. Obviously, like we all know ear infection's just fine. This tipped the man over.
Something else that should be explained to this. If you are a new parent, do not panic at 104. Draw a slightly cooler than body temperature bath. Give them some fever reducer. Their brain is not melting at 104. Babies are little rubber bands.
The only reason we know this, because I would panic, because 104 is very high for our kids, but for your sister's kids, they would get that 105, 106, and we were like, oh my God, get them to the ER.
Yeah.
And the doctor's like, oh no, they're fine. Just give them some Tylenol. If it goes down every time, then it's fine. I'm like, what?
It's amazing.
I don't know. It was confusing.
And our son had fevers.
Yeah, it was very confusing. But anyways, this was a great story scenario of new parent stuff.
Yes.
Right?
That's kind of what I'm getting from this. I would have enjoyed this, I think.
No, you wouldn't.
No,
it tipped him over. Completely tipped him over. And just like what she said to her sisters, I'm going to tell him that I love him. Right?
Yeah.
So now we're going into the next day. They are getting ready for the birthday party. They get this ball pit thing and it's huge, and she's got a small house. She bought the house all by herself, her single income. And she's telling him like, you know, maybe we should get a bigger place together. And he's like, together? And she's like, yeah. He's like, oh.
Are the boys coming? Because I don't think I can handle this.
And I was so confused. I reread this a couple times because I'm not understanding why he's getting cold feet with her. It doesn't make sense because this whole story is her second guessing him, and he's like fully committed great dad.
Yeah.
And now she's getting ready to tell him like, I want to move forward in this relationship. I think we should look into getting in a bigger place together. And she says, I love you. And he's like, you shouldn't. Like, I love you guys and the kids, but you shouldn't love me back. I abandoned you by faking my death. and I'm not a great dad. I should have got his temperature sooner, and I could have prevented this whole thing. And I'm like, that's not logical. I'm like,
that's not how infections work.
I'm like, this doesn't make sense. And I'm like, whatever. He breaks up with her.
And the book ends?
We're like 2 chapters away from the end. And I'm very confused. I'm like,
he didn't pretend to die this time, so that's a plus.
He breaks up with her, and it's like the day before the birthday party.
It's a shitty time to do it.
And he leaves. And she's just like, I fucking knew it. I knew he wasn't ready to be a dad. This whole book, she's like, there's no way. He told me he wasn't ready to be a dad. And then he's like, I'm not ready to be a dad. And he breaks up with her.
But he used his secret grandma wish on how to be the perfect father. It didn't work?
Clearly it didn't fucking work.
Okay.
So then he goes and he sees his brother, and his brother's like, why are you bothered by our like, why do you think you're going to be like our parents? And he's like, well, do you remember when we snuck out and we got chicken pox? I don't understand the connection. He's just stupid.
Because chicken pox, you also run a fever.
You do.
And ear infections, you also run a fever. He's no doctor. He's a prosecutor, Adri. He's just a man with 7 years of college and 2 years of tutelage under his belt.
I don't know. And his brother is just like...
how fucking old is this guy? He's a lawyer and he could have got the chickenpox vaccine?
I don't know.
Does that work? Did your brother get chickenpox?
No, he didn't.
Wow, they really came out with that just after us, huh?
Yeah, your sister also, I don't think, got it.
She did.
But I know that she got the vaccine, I think. But he fucking leaves her.
Okay.
I can't get over it. And I think he's blaming his parents for all of this. And he thinks he could have prevented the hospital trip if he took the baby's temperature sooner. And his brother actually calls him out. The only sane person in this book, thank God, who's just like, what would that do? What does your past have to do with what your choices you're about to make? And he's like, you're right. Then it cuts to the next day. She wakes up. She's wishing her baby boys happy birthday in their cribs. And she's a single mom again in her mind. And they're like...
And he's just outside the front door jumping around in the bounce house.
No.
He's like, come on in, guys. The water's fine.
They're
no
like...
shirt.
Dad. She's like, no, you don't have a dad anymore. And they won't...
Shut up, idiots.
And
He left because you ran a fever. This is your fault. I was going to have a great life with a rich, handsome husband, and you ruined it for me, Tommy.
And they're like, Dad. She's like, no, baby, no, it's fine. And then they won't stop. Why won't they stop?
They see his picture. He hung it just above their crib.
He's right behind her. And he's like, pretty much...
He broke into the house?
Yeah.
He just beating his way in there, back into her heart.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the fucking book.
That's how it ends?
Yeah.
He's just standing behind her?
And he proposed... So... He helps take care of the boys, obviously. He helps take care of them, all these things. And then he takes her to the bedroom and he proposes to her. He's like, yes, I do love you.
Takes a wedding ring off of her necklace and puts it on his cock. And he's like, I know this dick ain't much, baby, but I'm so rich.
No, but pretty much. I don't even care how he proposed. I was so pissed off. So it's the boy's birthday.
Does she accept?
Yeah.
Oh, she's a problem too.
He proposes. He's like, I'm just a part-time private practice lawyer because last week I turned down the prosecutor job so I can be a great dad. And it's him sharing in his proposal. And he says we should get a bigger house and enough for another baby. And he asks to try for another baby.
Yeah, he remembers what the process was like trying for the first two. It wasn't that big of a deal. The problem is, every time something doesn't go this motherfucker's way, he's going to leave.
That's what I thought. I'm like, the trust issues. You did leave for real and actual leave her and the kids, even if it was maybe for 12 hours.
Yeah, you had the intention of leaving.
You left.
And then proposed the next day. This guy is a bit of a red flag.
And asked to try for another baby.
Immediately. I would say that he has commitment issues. And maybe we don't aspire to be the type of father this man is. Or maybe we'll be. I will say that these are going to be the most two god-awful twins to ever deal with. If your parents are this wishy-washy about everything, there's no hope.
They may have a chance. I don't know. This is literally the last page is the proposal. I love you. I'm going to do this job to be a great dad. Let's buy a house and have kids together. End book.
She doesn't say yes by the end.
Well, yeah, she does say yes. They sealed it with a kiss.
Did she ever
Wes
say
and Tabitha had finally found their new beginning, and it started with a happily ever after. Sealed with a kiss. That's the end of the fucking book.
No, you're right. This book sucks. I was kind of on board for the middle part, where he was just being a good dad and a supportive human being.
Yep, until the baby got a fever, and then he got cold feet, and he actually broke up with her and said, I'm not doing this, and I'm not ready to be a dad, and was gone for the night.
Yeah, it sounds like it was a bit of a problem. I gotta admit, I had the better book. Your book really sucked, by comparison.
Because there's shitty books that were fun. Like the last one, the Amish one, it was just as crappy in the absurdity, but it was chaotic and fun, and I was laughing and having a great time and excited to tell you about it because it was so absurd.
You were excited to talk about this one.
Because I was so pissed off.
When I walked in the house after taking our son to a birthday party, you were complaining about this main character. Nothing specific. You were just like, this guy sucks. Our son looks upstairs, sees you, and says, save it for the podcast.
Because I just wanted to bitch about him. He had just left her when you
You're
guys
right.
showed
He's
up.
terrible. No, you're absolutely correct. He's awful, and I can see why you were in the mood you were in. I feel bad now about comparing him to Xaden. Middle of the book, he's Xaden Riorson. He's meeting the expectation. He may even be doing a little extra, but we're not blowing him for it.
Oh, okay.
By the end of the book, this guy sucks. Major Harrys. I would say the end of this book made you feel about the main character the way the last book we read made me feel about our main characters.
Yeah, I would say the level of anger that I felt about this book was you in the last one.
Just pure frustration.
Hour and a half of just ranting.
I give
and
you
the
so much
B
credit.
movie.
Yeah, I was on a bit of a tear in the last one, but I've had my palate cleanser now. If you would like a palate cleanser, please listen to Legends and Lattes.
It sounds so lovely. I'm going to try to borrow it and listen to it.
You can currently do it. I'm using your library card on Libby. It doesn't need to be returned until next week. Start it over.
This was great. Our next book is The Night and the Moth. This one has to do with gargoyles. That's new.
I'm going to have to Google about gargoyles. Is there a reference? And if any of you know of something, please leave a comment or something somewhere. Tell me where I can learn about all the different fantasy creatures and something that can break it down for me and explain it to me. So that as we go through these books, I have a mental image of what's happening.
That would be awesome. We should see if we can find something.
Or if you just want to write out a list and a comment, I'm happy. So happy to read that too.
We should get reading our next book.
We should.
I love you.
I love you.
You're my bestie.
You're my bestie. Open your legs and close your books. It's over.
No.
Thank you guys for supporting us. It's been a good time. If you'd like more,
follow us here, TikTok or Instagram. Fable, if you want to join our book club. Patreon, if you want episodes early.
drop it on Tuesdays if you're into that sort of thing.
Oh, yeah. Episodes are releasing on Tuesdays. If there's a two-parter, it's going to be on Thursdays.
We accept 5-star reviews and nothing less. If you leave something less, you're a motherfucker.
No! Honest reviews.
Not that honest. Only leave a review if you're willing to be a 5-star honest person. Should we come up with something mean to say to him on the way out? I kind of want to pick on him.
No, I won't say love you. Bye.
Oh, you can tell him that you love him.
Okay.
I won't.
Love you guys before Ryan bullies you out of here.
I'm fine with most of you. I love you, bye.